In last session, we have talked about some measure of positions, different methods like percentile, quantiles that we have seen. Now let's continue with that. One more topic is there, which is used to identify the measure of position, that is Z score. Z score. Another different method by which the statistical calculations are done. So Z score is also called as the standard score, which gives you an idea of how far the mean of the data point is. How far the mean of data point is. So, but technically it's measure of how many standard deviation below or above population mean or raw score is. So that's what Z4 will calculate it. So it can be placed on a normally distributed curve. Normally distributed curve. Z score range from 3 deviations, which would fall to the far left of the normal distribution curve, and up to the +3 standard deviation, which would fall the far right of the normal distribution curve. So within that range only, -3 to +3, in that range, maximal distribution or standard deviation will be kept, and in that range, the data will be normalized with the help of the Z score. That's the main idea. So it's trying to get the standard deviation as center as possible, as one as possible. So in order to use a Z score, we need to know the mean, that is mu, and the second one, population standard deviation, which is sigma. These two are there, which are used to find the Z score. Already mean we have seen, already standard deviation also we have seen, and with the help of that, the Z score is calculated. Now, Z score is a way to compare the results to the normal population. We can compare it, normal population, and with that, how it's normal, that we can identify with the help of the Z score. Results from the test or the surveys have thousands of possible results and units. Those results can be seem meaningless. Like, for example, knowing someone's weight is 150 pounds might be good information. But if you want to compare it to the average person's weight, looking at vast table of data can be overwhelming, especially if the weights are recorded in kilograms. Now, see, that's an issue over here. So I just want to check what's exactly the average weight is there and how can I compare with the average weight. So Z score will exactly tell me the way by which we can perform this comparison. Z score can tell you where the person's weight is compared to the average population mean weight is. Yes, both average population mean weight and the original weight, their comparison we can do with the help of the Z score concept here. Okay, so how the Z score is calculated? Simple formula is there. You can see this one. I just told about the same. Mu is the mean, sigma is the deviation, standard deviation. So Z is equal to x minus mu divided by sigma. This is the formula with the help of it the Z score is calculated. For example, let's see how it is calculated here. So let's say you have a test score of 190 and the test has the mean of 150. Okay, the mean is 150, your score is 190, and the standard deviation of 25. Okay, deviation is 25. Assuming a normal distribution, your Z score would be like this. Z is equal to x minus mu divided by sigma. So 190 is your score, minus 150 is the mean, divided by standard deviation 25. So Z score will be 1.25 for this case. Z score tells you how many standard deviations from the mean your score is. How many standard deviations from your mean score is. So in this example, your score is 1.6 standard deviation above the mean. Yes, 1.6 standard deviation above the mean. That is what told by the concept of Z score. So easy method is that basically when the data is in high magnitude, we have to normalize the data. So to do this normalization of feature scaling concept, we'll be making use of the Z score here. So it's easy, by which this method we can identify the Z score here. Now, you may also see Z score formula shown on the left, which is okay shown over here. You can see this one. This is exactly the same formula as Z is equal to x minus mu divided by sigma, except that the x bar is the sample mean is used instead of mu, that is population mean. Remember, sample mean and population mean means the whole population and some sample of data, so their mean are taken there. And S is the sample standard deviation, is used instead of sigma, the population standard deviation. Again, two are there: population standard deviation, sample standard deviation. However, step solving exactly the same. Z of I is equal to x of I minus x bar divided by S for samples Z score. Okay, that will be calculated by this Zi, and general, that's x minus mu divided by sigma, by which the Z score is calculated. Now, There is one more concept connected to it. It's called a standard error of mean, which by which you can identify the connectivity with the Z formula here. So when you have multiple samples and want to describe the standard deviation of those sample, okay, those sample mean, the standard error, we would use the Z score formula like this one. See, a small change is made over here. So Z is equal to x minus mu divided by sigma divided by root of n. So Z score will tell you how many standard errors are there between the sample mean and the population mean. Yes, how many standard errors are there? So n is the total number of element that is present. Square root you are dividing with, okay, so you are dividing sigma with the square root of that total n, and with the help of that, standard error of mean can be calculated. Let's see the example how it's possible to calculate the standard error of mean and how interpretation is there. So example, in general, the mean height of women is 65 inches, for example. Okay, with a standard deviation of 3.5, let's say. So what is the probability of finding the random sample of 50 women and mean height of 70 inches? Mean height of 70 inches, assuming that the heights are normally distributed. We are considering that elements are normally distributed. The Gaussian distribution is there. In that case, again, if you check the formula of standard error of mean, that is equal to x minus mu divided by sigma divided by root of n. So we are putting these values. 70, okay, that is the mean height, minus 65. 65, okay, mean height of the woman is there, and with we are having that number of elements, 50 elements, 50 women are there. So divided by 3.5, the standard deviation divided by root of 50. That's what is mentioned here. So we will get the value 5 divided by 0.495, 10.1 is the result of Z score calculated. So meaning is there is standard error of mean. The key here is that we are dealing with a sampling distribution of means. So we know we have to include the standard error in the formula. We also know that 99% of values fall within 3 standard deviation from the mean in normal probability distribution. Okay, so therefore, there is less than 1% probability that any sample of women will have mean height of 70 inches. Okay, like that. This is how the standard error of mean is there, which is calculated with the help of the Z score. With the help of Z score. Now see, we'll take one small example here. Just a minute. It's not that one. Yes. Example. How Z score is calculated and how exactly it's connected with the real life situation over here. You take the SAT test and the score is 1100, for example, and the mean score of SAT is 1026 and the deviation is 209. Deviation is 209. Mean score is 1026. How well did you score the test compared to the average test taker? Okay, how well you did, okay, with the average test taker. So basically, see, mean is given here. We are more than mean, means mean score is 1026 and your score is 1100. But using Z score, I want to identify how your performance better than the others. Now see, first of all, write down the x value in the Z score equation. In this case, your x value is 1100. Okay, that's your SAT score is there. Fine. In step number 2, we put the mean, that is mu, in the Z score. So 1100 minus 1026. 1026 is the mean score of all. And then step number 3, write the standard deviation sigma into the Z score equation. So 1100 minus 1026 divided by 209. Divided by 209. So this value, this all value now we are available. 209 is the standard deviation of all. And using that, the Z score will be calculated. So you can put these values. It is 0.354. This means that your score was 0.354 standard deviation above the mean. Okay, standard deviation above the mean. Remember, standard deviation above the mean. That's what we are getting over here. Above the means you are performing better than the mean. Standard deviation above the mean. And step number 5. So let's look at the Z value in the Z table to see the percentage of test taker scored below you. Means how many percentage of test taker have scored below you. The Z score is 0.354 is 0.1368 plus 0.5000. Okay, that will be equal to 0.6368 or 63.68%. Okay, 63.68% persons have scored below me, scored below my value. That is what the Z score will be there. Fine, this is how it's possible. Here one thing is taken, there's a Z table score is there, just like in last time we have seen about the same. When you see the hypothesis testing, okay, and we have talked about the test, chi-square test. In that also we have created one table starting from this. The same is present here. Okay, why to add 0.50 to the result? Because Z table shown score the right of the mean. Therefore, we have to add 0.50 for all the area left of the mean. Okay, that's what is done. And we are going to add it. This is the optional step actually. We don't require this one. We are just going to find this. And after that, how much deviation is above the mean or below the mean you can identify. One more thing is to note, the value can be negative also. Value can be negative. If the value is negative, it will be below the mean. Okay, above the mean and below the mean. So whatever distribution is there, accordingly we are identifying these results. Fine, remember that. Now, how the Z score is connected with the standard deviation? Technically, Z score is the number of deviations from the mean. That's what we have seen. Value of the reference population. Okay, reference population means a population whose known values have been recorded, like in these charts in CDC compile about the people's weight. Okay, that's what we have seen already. For example, the Z score of 1 is 1 standard deviation above the mean. Remember, the Z score of 1 is 1 standard deviation above the mean. The score of 2 is 2 standard deviation above the mean. That's what interpretation we already seen. This is the connectivity of Z score and standard deviation is. And if you are writing minus 1.8, so that is we are having minus 1.8 deviation below the mean, because this value is negative. This value is negative. And with this negative value, we'll identify that it is not above the mean, it is below the mean. Fine. So Z score tells you where the score lies on normal distribution curve. A Z score of 0 tells you the value is exactly average, while the Z score plus 3 will tell you that the value is much higher than the average. 0 value is at the center, means it's a exact mean that we can identify from here. Like you just check it. If you go to the formula here, whatever marks you got is exactly same of the mean. So obviously you are at the center. This value will become 0. But if this value is less than it, it will go negative. So we are dividing by standard deviation, correct? Whatever difference we have from the mean, standard deviation, that is what we are calculating. And with this, we are interpreting this particular results. Fine. Plus 3 will above the mean and much more higher than that. This is what the deviations concepts are used and connected with the Z score. So in real life, you can use a Z table and a normal distribution graph, which will give you a visual about Z score of 2.0 mean above the average. Like see, take an example. Your person's weight like 240 pounds, and you know that Z score is 2.0. Okay, Z score is 2.0. Now you know that 2.0 is above the average because the high placement of normal distribution curve is there. 2.0 is somewhat higher values. But you want to know how much above the average is this weight. Okay, how much percentage of above? That's the example that we have seen. Same. Z score will be centered at the 0, and Z score right, they're positive, and left that will be negative. Means when you actually plot the data, I'll show this particular plot, how this plot is taken, and how the Z score will be calculated for the respective value, that also we will see. So just a minute, let's continue with a small example that I'll show by Python programming. Just a minute, how the Z score are calculated, that we will see. See, so any data I will take, let's see that. So we are directly having a function Z score. With the help of that, these scores are calculated. And once these scores are calculated, we'll be now interpreting this data. Just a minute, check it. These are the yesterday's code. It's not there. Percentile and the box plot we have seen. This also we have seen. Yes. Okay, so let's see this one. For example, I'm having two different arrays here, which is created, two different set of elements I have just created here. You can see this one. See, these two arrays I have created, array 1 and array 2. They are two-dimensional arrays. Total number of rows are 2 and columns are 5. Fine. So they are printed here. See this one. And to calculate the z-score, we'll be having a function stats. Under the stats, we are having the function z-score. This will calculate the z-score for this set of data. Now you can see this one. Above the mean and below the mean can directly pass these values and you can identify this. So directly all the values are taken in the first case. Okay, all the values are taken and I want to do the operation column by column. So I'll keep the x equal to 1 here. X is equal to 1. And now see these z-score are calculated. For the first case, you can identify that now. Here -1 values interpret that they are below the mean and +1 identify that above the mean. The deviation is below the mean. Okay, and above the mean that is +1. And if you want to perform the operation column by column, so you can see this one. This is axis parameter is passed. So operation will be done column by column. This is the method that we can use it here. 1.6, then -0.6, -0.6, -6.1.0, something like that. These are calculated here. Fine. Above and below the mean. That's what is identified here by the z-scores. Basically, okay, it's very complex code actually, but there is an application that z-score is used. Z-score is used to find the outliers also. Outliers means an element which is not within the range, which is not following the properties of the crowd. That is called as outliers. So that outlier detection is also possible by the same, by which you can identify some threshold value. Okay, threshold value, using the threshold value they are above or below. So accordingly that we can identify the outlier detection also. This is one of the method used by some of the algorithm that is possible. See, even z-score calculation is also done on the data sets also. Just a minute. You can see this one. The z-score are calculated here. For example, the score which I am calculating here, if you just do a sum of all, you can see, sorry, what's the problem? Yeah. So all of their additions are 0 for this case. And if you make it x is equal to 1, this parameter, comma, now see they are different. So here we are performing operations on whole data and these operations are performed respectively on the columns here. Okay, you can just add them up. These two are added, these two are added, this two, like they are added together. Fine. So we got this array, and if I do the summation of this now, see, very small number I got, -1.1 into 10 raised to -16. And it is almost we come equal to the mean, that is center. Center is 0 basically is considered. Okay, this method stats.z-score is to calculate the z-score, and based on that we can identify the values. Okay, just one example I'll show you. The data frame that we have seen yesterday. Okay, in that data frame, see this. Like not salary, it was see social network ads. Or wait a minute, salaries will take, because only 2 columns are there. See, if these 2 columns are present, and if I check this, see, so there is a statistical property that we can see. The distribution of the data can also be seen, and if you just plot them in the KDE plot, means whether the data is normal distributed or not. See this. When the data is normally distributed, then easily z-score can be used to normalize the data. That I will show you. See this one, for example. And here I will show the KDE plot. The kernel density estimation can be shown by this method. Okay. So the distribution of data is something like this. You can just observe it is almost equal to, it's not 100% normal distributed, but it is somewhat like that. And if you check the salary, it's also not exactly, but somewhat like this. And this kind of data can be normalized with the help of the z-score. Basically, we are not directly applying the z-score there. There are some normalization technique called as feature scaling that can be applied. With the help of it, the data can be normalized, centered around the mean. So total number of element above the mean and below the mean. See, if you want to do the whole operation at a time in machine learning, how these operations are done. The data pre-processing concept is there. For example, from Sklearn, in pre-processing, I'll import the standard scaler. So the standard scaler basically makes use of the concept of z-score. And using z-score, it will normalize the respective data. Okay, so for example, this scalar I am importing here, and I'm creating the object of this standard scalar, and then we are scaling the data. Let's see, df scaled is equal to transform df. Okay, and you can see this. This is what they are calculating the z-score for every element. Sorry, df scaled. See, z-score of all the elements are calculated here using this method. It's a standard scaler by which the data is scaled within the same deviation. They're calculating connecting deviation common, and all other data, the z-scores are calculated. With that, data is getting normalized. Normalized means their deviation is actually same. You just check it out. So if I convert into data frame format, pd dot data frame, and then dot, then I will describe it. We can check it out. Now see, here deviation of both of these columns are same. This is what the application of z-score is. When you apply z-score for both, previously what we have seen, deviations are different. It was 2.83 for the year's experience, and for salary it is 27,000, correct? So by applying the z-score, I'm making both of there are same. See this one, the first one and the second one. Deviations are same, means magnitude is removed by just adjusting this data. And for both the cases, you can see total number of value above the mean and below the mean. That's also you can find. You can see above the mean means third quartile is 8.5 here, 8.5, sorry, 0.85, because it is 10 raised to minus 1a, and here for 0.91a. Fine, but in positive. And below quartile, okay, median is negative here for both the cases, and below the quartile, that is first quartile value, 0.75, okay, minus 0.7, here 0.71. Here minimum value is minus 1.5, okay, and here 1.85, and for this case minus 1.4 and 1.72. But you can check it, deviation is common, deviation is same for both of these data. This is what we call as the normalized data. When magnitude of the data is dominating the result in the machine learning, that time this z-score is used to perform the normalization. Okay, internally this concept of standard scaler or feature scaling we call, basically it uses the z-score to normalize the data. Because when you are using some algorithm which are using like distance features, distance formulas, like gradient distance formulas, the knn contains it, or some other algorithms like SVM, they're also having this particular concept. When data is in magnitude, or logistic regression also, data is in high magnitude, so that will dominate the output. So this domination should not be there. So to normalize the data, this concept of z-score is applied here. Okay, fine. And if you okay, this is what standard deviation we have, and if you just check, just a minute, here describe. Okay, so first column I'm extracting, sum up. Okay, it is very negligible, minus 2.22 into 10 raised to minus 16 is present there. And if I find the mean of this value, sorry, mean, just a minute, we'll write the mean function here directly. See this, mean of first is minus 7.4 into 10 raised to minus 18, which the values are actually very negligible. Minus 18 is like 0.180, and then 7.4 something is almost equal to 0. They are considered there, mean. And here last below value also 0.17 zeros are there, and then 1.4, that is this value is present over there. Okay, means this mean value means they are just like zero centered that we can consider. Deviation is kept common, and all other values are actually adjusted with the z-score. That's what the normalization concept is there, which is just to normalize the data. When data is in high magnitude, we'll be normalizing by using the standard scalar, which uses the consider z-score internally there. Fine. And even the function also we have seen x minus mu divided by sigma. This also we can directly apply. With the help of that z-score will be calculated, and it will proceed further. Fine. Okay, so this is a real world, real time application of the z-score